We just can't get enough of Velma, can we? Despite the fact that it is one of the worst shows ever, it's getting higher view counts than even The Last of Us, which objectively is a better show. And it's getting a second season, Velma is. I feel like we've all been hypnotized and are sharing one mass delusion. I mean, people from both sides of the aisle can agree that Velma stinks. Yet people can't get enough of this show. Whatever the hell is going on, it's doing wonders for many YouTubers, including myself. So I'll continue watching this and subjecting myself to absolute unbridled torture for you guys. Even though I feel like this is destroying my brain cells and is actively destroying my sanity every episode I watch, I'm doing this for you guys. So let's get on with this. Episode 5 starts out with the second smartest thing they've done, implementing a curfew for all students. This is hardly an accomplishment given that they should have done this 3 episodes ago. Also, I have to add this because for some reason this show has a thing for sexualizing minors. This has happened enough that it's no longer funny. They really need to look into the search histories of the writers of this show. Velma discovers her mom hid her journals, and because she is solving mysteries, she has a hallucination. Fred then does the smartest thing of the entire series. He doesn't help her. But because we can't have nice things, they revive her. Oh. The rest of the episode gets a bit loony. I'm not even kidding. The band sleepover that was canceled is now uncanceled because Velma needs Melville to help her investigate because he's apparently the only one that can help her during her hallucinations because he makes her laugh because he's such a simp. So because the show needs Fred to do something, he goes and gets pizza for Velma. And things just... I don't even know what to say about this. I'm pretty sure this episode was written by a sexually charged squirrel who stumbled on the same stash of coke as that poor bear in North Carolina. This episode just pulled the sleepover plotline from any teen show of the early 2000s and shoehorned it into its own dumb love triangle or love square or love pentagram, whatever. This episode, like most throughout the show, feels like just pointless filler. In fact, the only thing interesting that happens is Daphne finding her true parents. But more than likely, this will probably end up as a pointless waste of time. So episode 6, I have to give credit. You heard me right. I'm actually giving this show some credit. Of all the episodes so far, it was the least intolerable. It actually gave its characters an arc, and not just a flimsy arc like that of episode 4. Velma throughout the series has been this incredibly unlikable character up to this point. She treats everyone around her like dirt, and this includes her own father. But in this episode, she has to get a grip on her hallucinations in order to solve the murders. And using her big brain power, she figures out the reason these hallucinations are happening in the first place is because her father never gave her the time of day after her mom disappeared. Wait, is this show actually giving us character development and plot progression in a single episode? Am I having a stroke right now? Oh, wait. Velma's pole dancing in order to get her father's attention. Never mind. So Velma proceeds to make things right in order to theoretically kick her hallucinations to the curb. Luckily, her dad has paternal leave, so he decides to use it to spend more time with Velma. But Velma finds out he's only been using it to get more time in at work while she's at school because he's avoiding taking care of the baby. And this is where more objectifying of teens happens. Oh boy, not this again. As soon as we get some amount of character work, the show immediately craps all over it for just some dumb joke. But I did say this one was different, and henceforth it is. Instead of abandoning this premise, it actually sees it through to its natural end. What a miracle! Throughout the episode, Velma discovers that her mother was tracking down a scientist that was not only Norville's mom, but also a brilliant scientist that found a way to transplant brains. This leads her to the basement of Fred's manor. So Velma and Fred go down there, and a brick wall collapses on them because Fred is special needs. But the show wants us to believe that it's just because he's white, but the way he behaves is just special needs. We can't deny it anymore, guys. But, lo and behold, Velma's father comes to help her. He should have just left her buried underneath the bricks. Just let us have this one, please. Let us have this one. Just end this series already, please. I will give him credit. He is a good father here, and it actually does good character work for once in its life. But she has another hallucination. But this time, her father actually starts believing in her, and this causes her panic attacks to go away. They're actually doing some amount of character work, guys. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. I don't know what to say. It's a freaking miracle. We actually get some amount of character development in this stupid, dumb show. I'm giving them credit for an accomplishment that usually the average sitcom has no problem doing. And that just tells you how low the bar has been set. Now, we do have some attempt at more character progression out of Norville. In this, he discovers that his father raised him to be a beta male. So he's attempting to be an alpha, which, as you can probably predict, goes terribly wrong, and he just reverts to being the simp he is. So that was a waste of time. You know, I'm only putting as much effort into these breakdowns as the actual show does in creating them. Moving along. There's a subplot involving Daphne finding her actual birth parents who are holed up in this abandoned mine. Essentially, they are criminals who sell these crystals to people above ground. But why are they holed up and selling these like they are drugs? Crystals, as far as I know, aren't illegal. And it's not that kind of crystal. It's the kind of crystal that hippies believe has some magical properties, you know. But it would have been more clever if they turned it into a major business. Even if that has been a tired out trope from many other series, but still, it has more creative energy than what they come up with. But these writers aren't clever, or, well, they aren't anything at all except for massive narcissists. Anyways, it turns out Daphne's real parents were using her all along to cover up their operation. But Daphne's moms come to her rescue, which makes that a giant waste of time as well as a giant kick in the balls. Speaking of waste of times, there's also this plot thread about how Melville's mom discovered how to theoretically do a brain transplant, which the army immediately takes interest in. But not for communists or terrorists or any real threats in particular. No, instead he uses it to track down meddling kids and, stops them from meddling? Okay. Oh, and the initiative is called Scooby. Oh my god. At this point, even the show is too stupid to acknowledge its own rumors. This show is just too stupid. It's too stupid. But luckily, she never actually succeeds in accomplishing this, which causes her to go nuts. Wait, did this show actually just give away who the villain is in some throwaway exposition dump? Probably not, because she is diverse, and diverse people can do no harm. Remember that, guys. Anyway, that was a tremendous waste of time then. This show just enjoys wasting your time at this point. But overall, these were the most watchable of all the eps so far. Of course, the bar wasn't set very high to begin with, and I still don't recommend that anyone watch this. This is not a sign of things to come. The writers are too stupid to actually accomplish a higher level of character writing here. So don't watch this show. Not out of morbid curiosity or irony. We are already getting a second season of this dumpster fire. Please don't give Warner any reason to continue this apocalypse of this show. It is garbage and it will stay that way. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this. Bye-bye now.